Hello and welcome to my channel again. I needed to change the position because in that side, so behind me, how I was saying, it's sunny. So to be able to see, now you can see my unfinished um, window with that foam, isolation foam, but whatever, we didn't have time to properly set up this space, but I'm grateful that I have it. So we are now to another weekly journal. Again, I feel like a bit unprepared for it because this journal is in these journals I should show you what I've been working on, but because I have lately a lot of work that is not necessarily to show off, then yeah, it's looking like I'm not doing anything. But anyways, for who's new here, my name is Catalina and I'm the person behind by Catalina Designs, and I'm coming here on my channel. Besides tutorial, I just started to make these journals, which are really fun for me because I feel like I'm speaking with someone about what I love to do the most. So anyways, let's get started and show you what I've been working on this week. Okay, so I'm filming this video on Thursday. You will see it in weekend, maybe Saturday or Sunday, depending on how I will have time to upload this. And since last week, you know that I had that interim exam with my driving lessons, which went pretty good. So I got exempted from the final exam, so I don't need to do any special maneuvers like parking or turning or whatever, so I will just need to drive. My final exam is now scheduled on 20 of December, so I hope that Santa Claus will come to me with my driving license. Yeah, so this was because I was pretty stressed about it because I didn't know how it will go. It was actually the same thing as a final exam, with the same maneuvers, with the same time spent there, with the same the team of examinators. I don't know if the same guy will be next week, but next week on the final exam. But it was really nice. It was a nice experience, and I end up having a feedback directly from them. So now in the coming month, I know exactly what I need to work on. But anyways, regarding what I was working on, also today, Thursday 24, it was the deadline for the Stella jumper testing process, but I decided to release the pattern next week because I wanted to also to edit the video tutorials for it, and which I did it yesterday. Woohoo! And just because I don't want it to be in a rush with anything, I just said okay, I will release it next week. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. This is the Stella jumper, one version of it. This is working size extra small, and I made another one for the purpose of the video tutorial in size small, which I showed it to you last week. Maybe I will be able to put here some photos with my testers team because it was a great experience. It was my first test for a design that I have had, whatever, and I was pretty excited and I was nervous, and I don't know, I felt the testers' eyes over me, like, oh my god, is this good pattern, especially because it was a new concept for me, the construction itself. So yeah, I was stressed. Why is the construction itself? Because it has this saddle construction. So first we're working only increasing only the front and back panel, and then we're going into the sleeves. And I was sure that it will be easy to fit with bigger sizes, but anyways, because it's a better construction, you have more control on it, with the stitches, a number of stitches that you need to add, and the pattern. But anyways, it was a bit stressful because it was a new technique for me and I wanted to work. So apparently it's working. I just had a few mistakes with the stitch count, which the tester did great and notice them. Also, I need to see how I make the pattern easier to understand, because a few testers had a problem with the yoke section, how you place the stitch markers, but hopefully the video tutorial will be there to help you out. So I added the video tutorials because I'm always doing the video tutorials in Romanian as well, which is my mother language. I started this channel thinking that it will be only in Romanian, or I wanted to make this business in my mother language, but it's working better in I don't know, in English, which is a language that is known for in many countries, and this helped me a lot. So that's why I change everything into English, like my patterns, everything, but I'm keep doing the video tutorials in Romania as well, except these weekly journals, because these are kind of live, so I'm just freely speaking with you, so it's a bit difficult to make it in Romanian as well. So I was working this week to finish the Sella jumper pattern. Well, it was done, but to put all the notes that the tester had. Also, I added the video tutorials for them, and they are somewhere on YouTube but not published yet. Another thing that I was playing with actually last weekend, where are they? Where are they? Okay, here they are. So it was really cold, and I felt like I need a pair of slippers, and I had like so this is what I made. Well, the second one is because I said that, okay, first I will start with some scrappy yarn that I have, or leftovers, and this is the second one, well, like this. And yeah, just because I wanted to try it on and see, and they are pretty ugly, but they're functional, so they keep my feet warm, which was the whole idea. I was using homemade by Katya to make this. Let's see if I have a bowl. It's it's like a cord yarn, same with the t-shirt yarn, only that for this ones I use double-stranded, because it's a size 6 or jumbo bulky or whatever, but I felt like that for this type of slippers I will need more thickness, and I work them with 6mm crochet hook, just because I want them to be stiff and not to be too yeah, you get it. And because I want to master this pattern, I tried and made last night another pair. My daughter is asking for it, not a pair, only one, because I wasn't happy with the construction of the first one, so now I'm trying again, and this is it. And I added some fluffy yarn as yeah, they're looking nicer in the camera, but they're pretty ugly in a real person. But yeah, the whole idea is that they need to keep my feet warm, which they are doing. So this is the sole. I just drew one sneaker sole on the paper, and then with single crochet stitches I just tried to follow the outline and get to the shape of the sole. And I made 2 of them, and then I just with slip stitches I joined them together. Then I worked separately this upper part, I don't know how it's called, and then I stitch it with slip stitches as well. And while I was stitching this, I was going to the heel as well, just to have a continuous round. So these are pretty nice, I think. My daughter asked for a pair like this in her size, but she said that the fluffy yarn, she doesn't like it because it's too dark, so maybe I will find something else. So yeah, when I was publishing the short video with this, people were asking for video tutorial. That's why I started to make another one. So maybe I will have a tutorial, I don't know. Okay, another thing that I was working on pretty hard, and basically is the last thing that I was working on this week, because I had so many other things, is the Shining Pearl sweater fingering weight yarn version. I already finished a sleeve and I worked a bit in the length, and now I need to film the for the tutorial, because this is why I started to make this second sweater. Well, first to I think this is the front. First, to update the pattern, because there were a few mistakes in it, not that big that you cannot do the sweater, but still that might be confusing for some people. And I worked the sleeve. I didn't have enough yarn for with the off-white, so I said that I will add this I don't know, teal, turquoise, and then this light blue. And for the second sleeve I will use at the end, like on this one, but I will use the other color. I worked a small ribbing at the neckline, just to, and another thing that I did, I just shaped the sleeves. So I made some decreases along the I was thinking that the pattern doesn't help me to do that, because of course with the decreases the diamonds won't be the same. So let's see, maybe to take it off from the, okay. So I was thinking that the pattern is not helpful for that, and as you can see that with decreases, this here I lost the front post diamond, and basically I had two back post diamonds that were next to each other, and then keep decreasing, and then I got without back post, and so on. But I don't think it's bad. So I was thinking about that because I think I said it before. This pattern is pretty nice, has nice texture, but doesn't let you to play with the stitches. You need to stick to a number of stitches. Of course, there is a way to make these diamonds, for example, bigger. The biggest width is 9 stitches, but you can do it with 11, with 13, and so on. But this will complicate the pattern even more if I will just increase the number of the diamonds, because this means that it will be different pattern for each size. But anyway, if you are if you dare to try it and you see that it's not working with the number of diamonds that you have, then you can play with it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to finish this, and I think I had enough time to work on it and finish it, but I didn't have time to film the sleeve, so that's why I was just working a few rounds in the length. So yeah, in other news, I didn't have any time to write any other patterns, like for the joggers, for the knitting sweater that I had, but yeah, hopefully. Oh yeah, and I will show you another thing. Oh, sorry, I hope that you didn't see too much mess behind me. Yeah, And I know that many of you love this one. um Ta-da! This is the leftover yarn sweater that I started to make following the same pattern as the sprinkle sweater, just because I wanted to use up some yarn. The idea was the first idea was to use up some yarn, to use some other pattern that I had. And I knew that some of the yarn that I was starting with won't be enough, but I said, it don't matter, it doesn't matter, I will finish it with any yarn left. But the idea was that I was so in love with this combination of stitches and this the colors and fluffy yarn, how it's popping over here, that when the fluffy yarn was finished, and also the blue one, I think, I said I don't have enough to finish this. So I let it like this, and I post a short and a reel with it worn like over body warmer or even shirt. I didn't made any ribbing. Maybe somehow I will decide to uh, buy more fluffy yarn or what I don't have enough and finish the sleeves. But for now it's just like this. It's super soft and I love it. It has different weights of yarn in it. So it has from bulky, from worsted. So this was pretty nice to work on it and see how everything is going together. But yeah, I needed to consider this like a finished project, which is a good thing. One whip less, but I'm pretty sad that I didn't finish. Yeah, I can buy more yarn, but for now I don't know. I said that I will wait and see how I feel about it more, because maybe because I'm too sad I will spend some money on yarn, and this is not the idea of the entire season. The idea was to use anything I had or to use up my stash, and to find designs that it's working with any yarn. And that's why I use for this one. Well, for this one I bought some yarn because I got this Frida yarn from Lang Yarns, like 2 cakes, like as a sample to try it on. And then I said, oh, this is so beautiful, so I bought 2 more cakes to finish the sweater. But I'm trying not to, for each project, to buy yarn. And yeah, this week I have some tips and we will learn something this week. I told you that I have some ideas that I want to share with you, and this week, using up this sweater that I'm working on right now, I will show you how you can use the gauge swatch to calculate how much yarn you will need for a project. Having the pattern, having the measurements of the final sweater in your size, and of course making the gauge can help you to find the amount of yarn that you'll need. This means that you can figure it out if you will have enough yarn for a sweater, not like me. And in your stash, or this will help you to know how much yarn you will need to buy and not over buying more that you will need and then getting with the leftovers and then trying to find projects for that. So it's pretty accurate. I will show you the method how to calculate, and then the reverse method, basically seeing how much yarn I used on that sweater. We'll calculate how much I used already, and then if it matches with what the calculation that we are doing before is doing. And it's about with 5-6 grams more, and this is for 2 reasons. One is because I'm using a kitchen scale, and because it's a small gauge swatch, you might not get the proper, it weighs like 5 grams, so maybe that was not that accurate. That's why it's better to weigh the yarn that you are using for your gauge swatch before and after the gauge. I think this will give the more accurate information, or even more important, and this will help you even with the gauge swatch to see how many stitches and numbers to work a bigger gauge. But let's see how you can do that. Okay, you won't be able to see the scale actually what is showing, because I'm using this big ball. Usually I'm using a ball just to be easier to put things in. So I'm turning on, it's on 0, and now what you will need to do is to weigh the gauge. But the gauge might be too light for a scale like this. I'm using a kitchen scale, so it's better to weigh the ball of yarn before making the gauge and after making the gauge, because in this way maybe you'll be more accurate. So now if I'm putting his here, he's weighing 5 grams, so I will go for it because I didn't weigh it before, but it's a good idea. And as bigger as the swatch is, as you can get a more accurate thing. So this is weighing 5 grams, so I will go from over there. Okay, so this was with the weighting. Now we will go to the computer and see exactly how we calculate this stuff. For that, we will also need to measure our swatch. And let me get my measuring tape. So my swatch is measuring, let's see, 11.5 and 9.5. Okay, and now let's go to the laptop. Okay, so this is my sweater that I want to make. Let's just say I have here the sketch with it. It's important to have the measurement to calculate this. So if the pattern doesn't have that, then you cannot do it. So I have a regular sweater here. I will show you that it's actually the Shining Pearl sweater that I'm working on, which is not square, a panel construction or something. It's top down, but this doesn't matter. Even if the yoke is smaller, let's just say we just want to calculate like approximately. We don't need to if we buy one skein in plus, this is okay, but the thing is that we don't want to buy too many. So now I will put here the gauge information that I have. So the weight is 5, and I have width, which is 11.5, and height or length, let's just say, which is 9.5. And now I need to check the skein. This is the thing. I have one hank here with the same yarn that I was using. But if you don't have it because you're just starting your project, so you don't need to have this, you can just check online the yarn that you want to use, and this is it. Because you can do the gauge, because we're calculating in meters, so length, not width. So basically it should be similar with, it doesn't matter the fiber exactly. So I have here, so I'm checking which is the, so it has 250 meters and 50 meters per 50 grams. Okay, So now let's just calculate. We will need to calculate the area of the gauge and then how much yarn we've used for that small swatch. And then we will calculate the area of the sweater and we will calculate how much yarn we will need. So first, I will put here area sweater and we will have the body first, yeah, and I will calculate it without the sleeve, and I will go with the width multiplied with the length. So I put here, just make a function which will be 53, which is the width, multiplied with 40, which is the length. And I have 2,120 centimeters, square centimeters basically, because it's an area. And I need to multiply this by 2 because now I have only the width with the length, so it's basically only one panel. So the front or the back. And now I will multiply this again with 2 because I need the entire trunk of the sweater. And now I'm going to the sleeves. So I have here the designer, let's just say, give me the measurement for the armhole depth, which I will consider like the width of the sleeve. But here I can see that this, and maybe I read already in the pattern that the sleeve has some decreases, which doesn't matter. We just need to approximate. So if you have more, because we calculated this for this width, then it's fine. And now I have this 19 centimeters, but actually the sleeve is going to the back as well. So I will have 38, okay, or this multiplied by 2 because I need to calculate the entire sleeve. So let's put here sleeves, and I will have 38 multiplied by 40 because this is the length of the sleeve, and now I will multiply it by 2 because I have 2 sleeves, okay, and I have this. So now the total area of the sweater will be this, sum up this to see everything, the entire area of the sweater. So this plus this. And I have this number over here, let's just make it bold, which is the area of the sweater. How much fabric I will need to crochet or knit, because you can also crochet and knit, use this method for knitting. And now I will go back to my gauge because I will need to calculate the area of my gauge. So I'm going and calculate length multiplied with width, and this is the area that I have, and I know that its weight, my gauge weight or my swatch weight is 5 grams. So now I have I know that for 50 grams I have 250. So now I know that I have for 109 area, I use 5 grams of yarn. So now I need to know how much yarn or how many grams I will need for this area, okay? And I will put it, I don't know how this method it's called, but so I have for 100.25, I used 5 grams. And now for 7,000 to 80, this is x, so like a function. So now to calculate this, I will multiply the area of the sweater with the weight of the swatch, and then dividing by the area of my swatch. And I will need 333 grams. This you can approximate, is not a problem. And now these grams, I need to transform them in length. So now I will use the skein or the hank or the ball of yarn, what the yarn brand gives us as this information. You can calculate from the beginning this, transform this with the weight of the swatch into meters or yards, and then you can go and calculate here directly with the yards. So here you will have the number of meters, but it will work anyways. So now I will go with another formula and put this number over here. I will paste only the number. And now I know, or let's just put it over here directly. So now for 50 grams, I have 250 meters. That is what my yarn label is saying. And now let's just calculate how many meters means with 333 grams. So it's the same formula as below. So I will take this number multiplied with the length of the skein divided by the weight of the skein. And this will mean that for the sweater, I will approximately need 1,665 meters. And now to see how many hanks I need to buy, I just divide this by the length that one skein has. And this means that I will need 6.66 hanks to finish the sweater. And now I will decide if I will buy 7 or if I want to have a buffer, bigger buffer. Maybe I will want to work more length, or maybe I will want the sleeve to be longer, or maybe, I don't know, I need to buy less because I don't want to make it with sleeve. I want to make it sleeveless. So this is kind of approximate how much hanks do you want to buy. And now let's just reverse this calculation and see if it's okay. So I have the sweater without the sleeve, which I put in here, so without one sleeve, and let's see how much yarn did I use and if this numbers fits here. First of all, let's just calculate before, because we still are here. So I have everything without a sleeve. So basically here, I will have without this. Okay. And now if I'm putting here 760, this means that until now, I have 263 grams of yarn that I used. So let's check it if it's true or not. It should be closer, because the tension, the amount of yarn that we're using is changing if the fabric is bigger. That's why it's better to check your gauge when working after a pattern, also while you're working, so to know exactly if you need to adjust your tension while you're working. But let's see, I'm curious, I didn't check it, so let's see. So we need about 265, let's just say, grams of yarn. Okay, so I have here the ball of yarn, and here is the scale. See that it's on 0, and here is the sweater that I worked on. And I'm putting this here, and let's see what the scale shows. So I'm at 270 grams of yarn. This is what the sweater, the scale shows us. And according to my calculation, this was 263. So I told you that it will be a bit of a difference because yeah, this swatch it's smaller, but I think with only 5 grams or 7 grams of yarn is pretty accurate. So yeah, this was it with the thing that I wanted to show you about it. Okay, so I hope you found this information useful. This method can be used in knitting as well, so it doesn't matter because we're just playing with area and measurements, and uh, you can use it even if you want to make a knitting project, so it will work. And yeah, I'm pretty glad about it. Actually, this kind of calculating with area is and how much yarn from the swatch. Basically, I'm calculating with bigger sizes to approximate the amount of yarn that you'll need for the bigger sizes. So I'm using it when calculating and giving the information in the pattern. So you saw that it's basically working. I think that for an entire sweater, because I only have one sleeve left, so for entire sweater 5 grams of yarn is not that much to have as marge of error, let's just say. So I only have one sleeve left, so if I'm getting and buying because you saw I will need to buy 7 hanks of yarn to finish this sweater um, because the calculation were 6 and something. So of course that I will have left those 5 grams that I will need to finish the sweater. This means that I'm buying exactly what I need, so and not to buy too much yarn or more than I will need. So I hope this was helpful, and as usual, please use the comment section, or I prefer the form that I'm letting you the link in the description, because this helps me to be more organized with everything. Through the comments it's difficult to get and to answer and to see all of them, because you know, there are so many social media platforms where you need and should be to engage with people, and I'm trying, but there are so many things to do around the house and other stuff to do, kids, husband, family, pets, cats, whatever, that I don't have. I think I spend like half an hour in the morning and then in the evening a bit more, just to answer questions in the comments, messages, and so on. So it's easier for me with that form, and I'll be grateful if you would like to use that. Anyways, yeah, this was for this week. I can wait for the next one and see what my brain will get for you to learn or teach you. Maybe I will get out with a tutorial for this one if you want to see it. Comment below if you want to see this video tutorial. Is actually working and keeping you warm. I don't know if I should lift my leg like this. Yeah, so it's pretty nice. And yeah, if you want to see a tutorial like that, let me know. I still have one slipper to make, so maybe while I'm doing it I can film it. Okay, so this was it. Thank you so much for being here with me one more time, and I will wait for you next week. And next week maybe we'll have tutorials as well for the Stella jumper. Have a great weekend, and bye!